Alright, welcome to the next test video. I've made a few changes since the last one. You can see things look a little bit different here. It's a little bit bright and a little bit hazy, but what have I done? What in the world have I done? Well, for starters, if you remember in the previous video, I talked about how I liked Mythical Ages weathers, and I couldn't find an ENB that really made it look nice. But I decided to go and look up my notes, because when I'm not recording and I'm doing this testing, I'm stopping and I'm writing down notes, when I'm testing ENBs and weathers, and I've got a few pages of notes here. So I go digging through my notes to see what I have for when I tested Mythical Ages weathers with Mythical ENB, and I didn't have any notes, and I'm not sure why. It may have been because when I tested it, it was before I upgraded my power supply and my system took a dump, or it may be that I didn't like the look of it and I thought, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna fix this, so I just ignored it. Because right now, looking at this, it's kind of bright and kind of hazy. But I can make some global adjustments with the ENB user interface, which is in here, and fix some of this. So, for example, well, I'd have to look up where it is, but there's you can adjust the brightness. Don't remember exactly where it is. If it's here, I don't know if this is, well, that's not the brightness, but it's in here somewhere. I don't remember. I have to look around to find it, but it's in there somewhere. But what I wanted the mist, the fog, a little more, the overcast sky. And you may think, well, why do you want an overcast sky when you can have a nice, bright, sunny day? Well, it's part of the whole package. It's, so you get some nice, colorful sunrises and sunsets. But it is a bit, it looks a little sun bleached, I guess is the way to kind of describe it. It's bright and a little less saturated, but again, saturation is a global setting that can be changed, and I can tweak the brightness a little. So I shouldn't just ignore this one. I shouldn't just write it off. So anyway, one other thing that I was having a little trouble with, I wanted to use, I've got Realistic Water 2, and I wanted to have either the teal or the fantasy blue. And depending on the weather mod, those may or may not show up very well. And with Rustic Weathers, it wasn't showing up very well. Even with the fantasy blue, you could see it better at night, but in the daytime, not so much. It was a little better with Cathedral Weathers, but still, I was missing a lot. And I know that with some weather mods, like Mythical, like Aquanoctium, I think with NAT, it shows up very well. And you can see how blue the water is right here. Now this might be a little more fantasy blue than I really want, so I may swap it out for the teal version. But at least it's here, because before I wasn't having it, and I had Obsidian on my last playthrough, which just killed it. I didn't have, even though I had the watercolor enabled, there was no color change at all, which is really disappointing. So I got to thinking, I don't have any notes on this. Maybe I should give it another go, and looking around right here, like I'm looking at these trees in the background here, and they look very faded. I don't have Dindalod working, so I don't have the billboards for them yet. But it's a little bit faded, a little bit hazy. But again, I think I can tweak that a little bit. I can increase the sharpening. I can adjust the saturation and the brightness a little bit. I'm looking for something that's, let's say, as far as saturation goes, maybe a little less than average, maybe a little more than average contrast. And I really like the mist and the fog. I mean, look at the sky. It's just overcast. It looks like there's some mist and fog in the distance. It pairs very well with Obsidian Mountain fogs, because you're looking up there. All this stuff up here is not, well, some of it is Obsidian Mountain fogs, but not all of it. Some of it is Mythical Ages weathers, and they work together very nicely. Excuse me. So I wanted to give this another try. Now, I'm not going to be writing down anything. I'm going to try and point out things during the course of this video, and then I will look it over and write down notes afterwards. But I wanted to record this. I'm checking I got the FPS counter to work. Finally figured that out. It's like there's... if you're not familiar with the NVIDIA control panel, there's it tells you what the key command is to activate it, but that won't do it by itself. There's another section you have to go into, and you have to choose where you want it to show up on the screen. So you can't see it, but I can see it. It's in my upper right corner. But you have to tell it where you want it to show up before it'll show up. So that was the only thing. Anyway, I was going to go on a different route than what we did before, but when I'm comparing, and since I changed ENBs and weathers again, I want to travel the same route for consistency's sake. One other change that I did make, well, actually it was two changes. The first one was I went into my Skyrim preferences and the INI file, and I changed, I think it's the grass size. I forget exactly what that line is, but normally a modder, who's making the grass mods will tell you, set that at 60. That's like a good average point. I think you can set it between 20 and 100. They say 60 is a good starting point. If you go lower, you get more dense grass, but it's a larger FPS strain. If you go higher, the grass is thinner, but it's more performance friendly. So I had adjusted it from, it was at 60, I set it to 75, and that did help quite a bit. And then I set it to 80, and it's at 85 right now. So I'm occasionally I'm dropping down to 55 FPS, but it's not staying there. But I've changed grass mods too, believe it or not.
I guess I was just hearing things.
I saw a grass mod called Villanimus, and they have a spring grass version. Oh wow, I need help. A spring grass version, and it makes the grass in Whiterun Hold green. You see, the road is really bright here. I do like the way the fires look though. Although this is still really bright out here. Hey, Wolfie! Down you go.
Come along, no more stops. We need to find our way to Solitude.
You're going the wrong way. See, now I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yes, the grass. One of the other things I wanted, you see, when I'm testing mods and I'm gearing up for the next Let's Play, which I was hoping would have been any day now, but still some little delays here and there. But one of the things was I really wanted, if possible, obviously I like Mythical Ages weather, so I wanted that to be involved. And I wanted Whiterun Hold to be green. And that's a little difficult to do, and I'm finding it's a little bit difficult trying to find a mod that will do that in the best way possible. Okay, let's see how this guy handles the wolf. My money's on the wolf.
Damn you! Clear it out, I guess.
I was only kidding about that. So I tried Vadosbrum Spring Grass. And the only problem with that is it didn't change. There's some rocks. They're all over Skyrim, but they're called cliffs actually. And I think this is one right here. They're all over Skyrim, and what happens is with that mod the grass was green in Whiterun, but it didn't change these things, so they were still dark brown. And it looked really odd when you're looking over the landscape, how you have lots of green grass and these dark brown patches all over. It just didn't look right. And there's another one called Grass Fields, which is, I might try that one. But then I found Volanimus, and the one thing that was intriguing about this one, move your ass, Bambi. He didn't move his ass. They never learn. One thing about that one was, you know what? Hang on a second. Let me try something. I want to see where the brightness is. Let's see. Is it in constants? Nope. Global. Oh, come on. Bloom, land, sky, is it environment? Direct lighting, intensity, day. What happens if I change this? I'm not sure that did anything. Piss off. Well, I'll have to research that a little bit. But one thing that I found interesting about Volanimus grass, aside from that they have a spring version as well, is that the grass is, I don't know if you remember in the last one, but the grass is not nearly as tall. Alright, who shot the rabbit? What's your problem? Oh yeah, you got a prisoner. Gonna chop his head off too? Yo, dragon's gonna show up. You guys don't learn. So yes, and this mod, the grass is much shorter. We need to get moving. We're burning daylight. We're wasting time. That's what bothered me with some of the other grass mods. I guess, is that it's like waist deep, you know, and I remember once somebody commented that the grass is so deep that children disappear in it. Thought that was kind of funny. Hey man, you just gonna stand there and let me burn you? Oh, nice flip. Well, I'm getting a few little FPS hits here and there. Right, there's that stupid bear. Alright, what do we do about the bear? Alright, we'll just let them deal with it. And the skeever's gonna join in the fun.
Damn you!
You think the skeever takes out one of them, you know? Well, we know there's gonna be that fight up the road. Kind of like to wait and see what happens when these guys get there. But we got stuff to do. We've got some interior cells to check. We got some venison to cook. There we go. So I jumped in here a little while ago when I just reinstalled Mythical Ages and Mythical ENB, and I had this weird horizontal line that was, I don't know how to explain it really, but it was this weird kind of a warping line that was dropping down, and it turns out that was V-Sync. So I made sure to lock that one. I think the Imperials are a little bit outnumbered here. They have reinforcements on the way, but I don't think they're going to get here in time. Wow. Kill cam. Oh wow, they already cleaned house down there. Come on, stadium seating. Shit, can't get up there. Well, I say you guys won this one, didn't you? Yeah, they never have anything good. Okay, let's run in here and we'll check the lighting in Haymar Shane. It's a little kind of a greenish, bluish, and pretty bright. What's the matter, Cupcake? A little hot? Keep in mind, they're level 1. That's why they're going down so quick. And I have God mode enabled. But I just want to see what the lighting in here is like. It's a little bit brighter than some of the other setups. Hard to tell with the flames in this one, because it's bright in here. It's hard to get a good read on that one. But let's keep moving. This looks pretty good. Still a little bit bright out here. We'll look into adjusting that, but it just seemed like when I was testing Mythical Ages before, I had several times where there was mist and fog, whether it was up close or a little bit in the distance. It just looked really nice. And it reminded me of why I wanted to use it before. But it was the same thing. I didn't find an ENB that really looked good with it, and I didn't feel comfortable going in there and just start changing things in the GUI to try and make it work. But I want to make it work. It's what I want the game to look like. So I'm not sure if we'll make it over to Whiterun Hold. I want to see what the grass looks like over there. I'm sure this would look better if I dropped that value from 85 down to maybe 75. But I got to keep an eye on the FPS and how well everything's working. It does make the roads look a little bit different. Not that I cared that much about the roads, but I mean, I have blended roads in, but see, it's still a little bit bright out here. We'll grab this other key, pop in here, see what Helgen looks like. The flames seem brighter, but they look good. I can't quite figure that out. Okay, this is definitely, the lighting here is less warm than before. Still not bad. Yes. Definitely not quite as warm. But I think it was a little bit on the orange side before anyway. So, I mean, this isn't too bad. It's a little bit bright in here. Especially right there. But it was pretty bright there before as well. We'll have to check some other interiors before I think about changing the interior brightness. Can't go by just one interior. But this definitely needs brightness turned down a little bit. I would really like a little more. I like some of the contrast and moodiness that Rustic Weathers brought. I like the mist and the fog, as you can see over there. I like that. It's a little bit overcast today, so it shouldn't be quite this bright out here. The grass around here is, well, there's less grass and it's white. In the other video, it was that kind of brownish tundra stuff. Let's see, which way do we want to go? I guess we'll go this way. We'll check the interiors again. Pick up my spells so we can go beat up on some bandits. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to do that. You can't have a mod testing video without jacking some of those fools around. It just wouldn't be the same. Yeah, I think this area this path here, this is interesting because I'm watching the video. It looked to me like the pathways, not the roads, but the pathways were pretty well covered in grass, but that's clearly not the case. It looks like it changed the ground textures too, but this might be just from Noble Skyrim. This might be how it looks. I do have it above the grass fix mod. Not sure if that's the exact name, but it removes grass from places it shouldn't be. It's not 100% perfect, but I guess it fixes a number of issues where there's grass growing through buildings and places it shouldn't be. Well, the FPS is still doing pretty well. What's up, man? Something with Riverwood. It's like no matter what, I always get some FPS hits when I approach Riverwood. But then it's like it goes away. Yeah, so there's definitely less grass here. And that's fine because, you know, sometimes I like to hit the chickens and I can't see them in that grass. Fire might be a little bit on the orange side. The lighting looks pretty good though. Yeah, lighting looks very good. Not bad. Go check the sleeping giant in. We'll see if Onman's outside because he's like, he'll follow me in. Watch this. There he is. Creeper. Let's see. Yeah, same thing. Fires might be a touch on the orange side, but overall I think the lighting's pretty decent in here. Watch this, now he's gonna follow me back outside. No? There he is. Creeper. Little FPS hit there.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh, a customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
You know, the only thing about this one that kind of bothers me is that there's no light coming off the fireplace.
Maybe you could talk
See
some
this
sense
table?
into my pig-headed brother.
Yeah, don't pay me. This area in front of the fireplace should be glowing. It should be lit up. I mean, there's some light right here, but this looks white. It doesn't look like it's coming from the fireplace. You see, you got illumination around this candle. Lucan's lit up. There's light reflecting off that helmet. That's being a little nitpicky, but I don't know. Yeah, let's move on. All right. Ice shard is always fun. Check the water. Yep, we got the watercolor. And I think before I talked about the water went clear. I could see straight through the bottom. There's a value in the ENB settings called muddiness, and it was set to 0.45, and I think the highest it goes is a 1.0. I don't know why it was changed. I didn't touch it, but some reason it got changed to that, and that's why the water was so clear. I kept reinstalling realistic water too, and I was trying it with getting some FPS hits here. I was trying with the teal version with the fantasy blue. Neither one was doing anything. So I found out what that was. I set that, and now I don't have. I mean, because the water looked like freaking bath water, you know, or tap water. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to get in a boat or get a glass and have a drink. Isn't that weird? I never noticed that before. You can see right through the fire. I can see the back of the fireplace. It's a little bit light in here, but it's not too bad. At least you can see what you're doing. Alright, 5:48. Let's make our way up the road and see if we have a nice looking sunset. We'll jack up a couple of wolves on the way, then on the way down we'll throw some ice shards and some bandits' asses and ember shard. We'll run over to Bleak Falls Barrow. Then we're going to make our way over to Whiterun Hold. Let me see. We got to find just the right spot, because this thing's going to put that in that rock. Right in the ass. Yep. What are you looking at? See what I mean? You see where the crosshairs were, right? Alright. One in each end. One gets it in the mouth, one gets it in the ass. I told you. Yeah, I'm not. This is kind of odd for me that there's this amount of dirt around the road. I'm not used to it. It's like I can't say it's good or bad. It's just kind of throwing me off a little. Boy, I really got to get the tree LODs, don't I? They look not good. Well, it's not an overly colorful sunset. At the moment, anyway. Oh, I should have seen it when I came through here last time. Yeah, I still need to decide if I want to stay with the fantasy blue or go to the teal, which is a little less, you know, fantasy blue. See, there's grass all up and down here, and now it's a lot of dirt. I kind of like it. I guess it's going to take a little getting used to. I'm getting a few little FPS hits here and there. Okay, we're not going to get a very dramatic sunset this time. Oh. So another thing I want to check is how bright things are at night. That seems to be a problem with some ENBs and weathers. Is that the nights are just way too bright. But then you get a night with a full moon and an aurora, and that just doesn't really help you to judge how light or dark the nights are. I don't know, is that too bright? Seems like it's too bright, although I kind of like how it looks. This looks a little bit reddish over here, but not too bad. I don't know how you get everything perfect, if that's possible. See, we got a 3/4 moon. I can still see things on the other side of the river kind of clearly. I thought it might be a little bit darker out here, but I can adjust the brightness, the night brightness, pretty easy. Headshot. Told you. Oh, that was a forehead shot. Alright, let's see. Yeah, this is a little bit bright around this light source.
Are you worried someone
Not too bad, though.
exactly hidden?
Oh, come on. That was That was clearly a headshot. I mean, I got robbed. Well, it's definitely a little bit brighter around the light sources. I think the ambient light level is about the same, but it's definitely, when you look at how bright it is around that one, around this light, it's definitely a little bit brighter around the light sources.
It's nothing.
How did that taste, buddy? Yep. Have a snack. Well, looks like it's a little bit lighter in here than before, so it might be the ambient, might be a combination of ambient light level being a little bit more and the light sources being a bit brighter. Now that looked painful. Did you see that? No, you didn't see it because you got an icicle in your eye. Ho ho ho. Right. 3 more idiots. Where are they? Yeah, that's lighting me up when I do that, so I better not pull my hands out until I'm ready to... There you are. Yeah.
I'll skin you alive.
You'll skin nothing. Alright, let's see. How does this scene look? That's a bit white or cold. Well, you know, before the lighting in here I thought was a little bit dark, but not bad. This is a little bit lighter. I mean, can you ever really get it perfect everywhere? Because every interior is a little bit different. I gotta stop being so choosy. But again, I have to consider what is it going to look like when I upload it. That's why I uploaded that last one, because I need to see how dark the interiors are once it gets on YouTube. What may look fine to me may end up being a little too dark. Looks like we got a little bit of mist and fog in here. One thing about Cathedral Weathers, I don't know if I mentioned that, but the stars and the galaxy there were really insanely bright. And I don't think you can change that within the weather mod. There may be something in the ENB that can change it, but it was like that was the first thing I noticed when I was testing stuff at night. What a shot, huh? One more for good measure. So this is the other grass. Yeah, it's still kind of light out here for nighttime. Well, it might be darker if it were cloudy. So I may not want to adjust the light levels at night too much. All right. Where's everybody? Hey man, what are you doing?
Bad time to get lost, friend.
Who says I'm lost? Huh? Let's see if I can bust this guy through the window. It may require a follow-up shot. Ah, man, I could have had him if it wasn't a kill cam. I actually did it once. Oh, that's disappointing. Well, it's very orange right here, but it was kind of orange there before as well. And now we've got an Aurora. That's going to make things even lighter.
Never should have come here.
I didn't mean to do that. Ah. Alright, let's keep moving. Enough messing around. Let's go see what Bleak Falls Barrow looks like. We could run through the whole thing if I want to be really fast about it, but I might want to make my way down the hill and see. I want to see what Whiterun looks like, especially in the daytime with this other grass mod. So far I'm okay with it. He's still going. Let's move you over here so you can join your friend. Down there. Come on, get off the mountain, both of you. That's better. Now the place is cleaned up. Well, the FPS is doing pretty well if I'm not in a heavily forested area. Let me check the heat. Yeah, kind of hot. The ambient light level is pretty good. That area looks a little less warm than before. Interesting. Right in the back of the head. Shut up. Alright, where did you go? Where are you? Oh. Whoops. Looked like another booby shot. I've really got to do something about that. Some of the light sources look a little bit bright and a little bit large. This one actually looks a little bit smaller and a little less bright. Interesting. Let's head down in here a little bit further. Yeah, it's definitely not quite as bright in this part. Though the ambient light level is still adequate. Just around the light sources is a little less bright. Not necessarily a problem. That fire looks nice. One in the ass. Nope. One in the sack. Wait a minute, did you have a torch? Yep, I want it. Yeah, the lighting's a little bit different in here, but it still looks good. I'd like to go explore a little further in there, but we're already 47 minutes into this video. Or thereabouts. I didn't want this one to be longer than 55 because I am going to compare the data again. And I do want to see what Whiterun looks like. If this makes Whiterun look nice and green, yeah, I might have to keep this grass mod. Alright, it's 2 a.m. Let's wait till 6 a.m. That's nice looking scenery. Yep. Pretty good looking scenery. Can't really complain. Well, you can really see High Hrothgar. Well, you could. We'll get out of this blowing snow so I can see a little bit better. Hope I'm still on the path. Well, it didn't, there's still a lot of grass on this path. That hasn't changed. But it's not all dark brown. It kind of, looks like grass that's got some snow on it. I guess that's fitting, right? Yep, there's the green grass. Look at it, even the stuff way out in the distance there is green. I thought it might be, you know, brown until you did the LOD stuff with it. Let's go check the giant fire. Hey, dumbass. Have you ever wondered something, where they come from? I mean, think about it. Have you seen a female giant? No. So, What do you guys do to keep warm at night? What? Too much information? Too personal? Well, this part here is more tan than green. Let's keep looking around. See, the rocks here they're green. They're not brown anymore. That's good. Of course, the grass here isn't green either. Let's see. I thought it made the grass out here green. I don't see any green grass yet. I mean, this stuff's green. The mod page said it makes it, I think is what it said, it made the grass, or it made these rock cliffs kind of a mossy green. Now, see what I mean about the mist and the fog? It's great. But this grass is more, a lot more yellow than green. Well, I'm kind of disappointed. I downloaded, this was the 2K version. That was the only one they had where the grass was green. But this, I mean, you're looking at this. Does this look green to you? Doesn't look green to me. Alright, I guess we're going to have to wrap this up then. We're at over 50 minutes. So, yeah, I'll do a little tweaking with the, man, see this fog? That's great. This is exactly what I was wanting. Now I just need to adjust the brightness a little. Maybe drop the saturation a bit. Bump the contrast a bit. Find me some green grass, man. Alright, that's going to do it for now. If you watched all this, thanks, but, you know, not really necessary. I'm just doing some testing. So, anyway, that's the end of this one. See you later.